go.
Waiting.
Sorry, I just felt like I had to give Derek a bit more eye contact. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Mindful Podcast, and it's been a while since I've done this, so I feel like my intro's already rusty, I'm not going to lie. But today I have got a special person who's very special to my heart, I'm not going to lie. I've known him since 4 years old in reception, best mate throughout his entire life, and he's got a left foot like Messi, I'm not going to lie, and it is Thomas Anthony Kelly.
Oh, thank you, Lewis. I appreciate that, mate. That left foot about Messi, yeah, it's once every 2 weeks on Thursday footy, but I'll take it.
I'm not going to lie, you sounded like that was a footy interview then.
It was. It's our mate. Yeah, I had a good game there, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, lad, you're welcome. Played shit on Thursday night, but, you know, we moved from that.
Still scored. I did actually score a goal.
And I got the assist.
You did actually?
That was my first assist in Thursday night footy, but, you know, it is what it is. But, how are we?
I'm good, I'm good. Thank you for having me on anyway. I was meant to be on a couple of weeks as a support for Danny, weren't I? And, but I'm here now on my own. Let's give it a go.
I can't believe Danny had to cancel. I think he cancelled like 2 or 3 hours before.
Was it?
Yeah, so then we had the free day off because you had to go and do shift in the cafe.
If you would have said to him, let's go Zodiac, then you still would have seen him. I promise you know. Danny.
If you're not. But now he's back on the 20th. I told Derek before and I was hoping he'd remember, but he doesn't remember the conversation from Thursday, so here's what it is. But I don't really see you too much anymore, which I don't like, but what's been going on with yourself?
Yeah, no, obviously, we're still best mates, like you say. We don't need to see each other every day, but life's happened, hasn't it, really? I was obviously looking over the episodes that you've done with a few other people, and it's crazy to think like everyone has actually got a story, haven't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I was just thinking, like, you've always been there for me, and yet I sat there and thought, I still haven't really like kind of opened on the things that I used to think of as a kid. Do you know what I mean? And like things like how my mum left me, you know, when I was 2 and how I dealt with that. And like, you know, being surrounded by all of our good friends, and especially because I was here near enough every day, weren't I? Staying here 2-3 times a week. You know, and you had such an amazing family. Like, I'll always consider Mary and Andy, Sean, Leighton, yourself as family, but it was crazily different to what my household was. Do you know what I mean? It was like, I live with me nan still. Don't worry, I am trying to move out soon. But like, obviously, both my parents heavily alcoholics, and like, not to like throw digs at them, because I do love them. You know, I know my dad done a lot for me with all my sports growing up and that, but looking back now, I see evidently like that they chose alcohol over me multiple times, you know, like near enough every time. And even looking back at Christmas now, just gone, my mum's come home, mum's gone back to Ireland now, but I look back at her and think, if I weren't sitting in a pub with her, would I have seen her? Would she have wanted to do any of the things I want to do? Do you know what I mean? Like, looking back as a kid, she only used to get me out by saying, we'll go to a pub and we'll get you a pool table or a snooker table, because she knew I fucking loved it. Do you know what I mean? And it's a crazy situation. But I don't really know how I ever, like, just didn't, like, break down in front of me mates, do you know what I mean, when I was thinking about it.
Yeah, because we became good friends, best friends in reception year 1, so we were like 4 or 5. We would spend vast majority of the week together, so you would stay here like 3 days in the bounce, I'd stay in yours like 3 days in the bounce, and we'd do that every week. So I was always there throughout the whole thing, but even as a child, like, you used to always go, I miss my ma. But obviously we were kids, so you're a bit more like that. But there was never a time where, obviously I know we're kids and you never say kid struggles, but you never struggled and you never opened up in that way, did you? Like, that's one thing I'll always remember. And no matter how much you said, I miss my ma, or I want my ma to come back, something
Yeah.
like that. Even though your dad was upstairs, you had your nan, your granddad. It was, don't know. It's hard actually looking back at it now because I haven't thought about it for years.
That's what I mean. Like, you know, I'm not saying that I ever like missed out on anything because my nan made sure that I had everything. Do you know what I mean? Like she did. Both nans as well. Obviously made sure that I had everything I ever wanted or needed, but it weren't the materialistic things that I was ever missing. Do you know what I mean? It was things like when me mates would be like, oh yeah, me mum's gonna come pick me up now from school and things like that. And I specifically remember like one like Sunday when I was like 8 or 9, and I'd gone to New Brighton with me Nana Pat, and she dropped everyone else off, so there was only me, nan and Claire in the car. So like, you know, like our James and all them, they'd already gone home, and like I just sat there and said to me nan, like, why doesn't me mum live here anymore? Do you know what I mean? Because like I'd heard it from my dad's side, but I'd never really heard it from my nan's side. And like I thought maybe my dad's trying to like protect me in a way, do you know what I mean, by not telling me the full truth, or just he might break down as well by it kind of thing. But my nan basically told me the same thing as my dad. Like, my mum had a breakdown when your granddad got murdered, and she just couldn't deal with it, and she didn't think she was maybe ready to be a mother like my mum, do you know what I mean? And basically my mum didn't let anyone know, do you know what I mean? She just, one morning I was there waiting to go to school, like, and I lived with my mum at this point, just me and my mum, and my dad came round in the morning to, like, because my dad used to work in the Bonbon on London Road, so he dropped me off to my Nana Pat's. Like, I don't know what my mum would do, but this one morning my mum just weren't there, do you know what I mean? And like, my dad was like, what the fuck? So he took me round to my Nana Pat's and said to me Nana Pat, like, well, I don't know where Trisha is, she went with the baby, you know what I mean? And Nana Pat was like, oh, I don't know, she hasn't fucking told us either. And turns out, yeah, nobody heard from her for a good while, months and months, you know what I mean? And it was just like, yeah, she's fucked off to Ireland. So when my friends start talking about, like, oh yeah, I'm going on holiday with me mum, or, you know, my dad, my family, like, yeah, I'm doing this with my mum, it kind of hit me hard when I was a kid. And my Nana Pat used to have to, like, proper just, like, cuddle me, you know what I mean? Because I'd be, like, there crying in her arms, being like, why doesn't my mum want me? My nan was like, she still says it to this day, she could never have done it, do you know, to one of her kids. Yeah. And I know that I'll live with my mum forever. Like, she says it to me now to this day. Like, I do have a relationship with my mum, but it's not the traditional, you know, like, mother and son bond, do you know what I mean? And in a way, I feel like I've missed out on that, do you know what I mean?
You good?
Yeah. Sound, yeah.
Yeah, because every time I saw your ma, and your ma would treat me like I'm her kid as well, and she's always like, hello, my Louie, kiss, but
yeah,
I feel like you get the exact same treatment as that.
Yeah.
We've only got so much time together, let's just be loving, and then I'm gone. And that was always one thing I found really, really sad, like, growing up, because that was one thing I did really realise. And I always started to put myself into your shoes. To be honest, I always try and put myself into other people's shoes, where what would it be like if I didn't have my mum and dad together? And I've always thought for years, I am so lucky to have that. Like, so lucky to have, like, my mum and dad constantly there.
Yeah.
And I remember one day I went through, like, all the people that we know and I counted maybe a handful of people's parents that were still together, and we knew quite a lot of people.
Yeah.
And there was so many single parents or mum and dads that have split up, and I was so surprised. And I think that day was when I realised, like, it was lucky.
It is, like,
yeah. And then obviously growing up with someone constantly, like, every single day, even Kyle as well. Like, Kyle's in this exact same boat.
Genuinely.
Where it's just like growing up with you two, but I don't know, just it was weird to not realise it when it was such a big thing as a child for myself. Because I would obviously go around to yours, I'd see your dad, see your nan, see your granddad, and I'd still think like, oh, this is family, this is a
Yeah,
whole
yeah, yeah.
right now. But for you, it's like there's still that missing piece.
There was a missing piece, yeah. And the thing, like I'm looking back now and still to this day a little bit, and like, you know, once again, I do want to just mention, I do love me mum, and I love it to bits, do you know what I mean? Because I know that she'll probably watch this episode and it'll probably break her, but this is coming from me, do you know what I mean? But a lot of the time when I was growing up as well, she chose Claire directly over me, do you know what I mean? So like, and just to give the people a little bit of background, Claire didn't have parents, like both of hers died, obviously, as you know. So there was always this kind of like protective bubble over her, do you know what I mean? And it was kind of like everybody tried to overcompensate for her, like, because she didn't have that. So like, you know, my nan like legally adopted her and took her on as her own, obviously, and gave her everything. But then like me mum would do the same, but obviously my mum would come down only like once a year or something. And so when she was coming down and like I'd be like, right, I get to spend some time with me mum, it'd be like, oh no, wait, she's just out in town with Claire, just there and Claire all the time. And it'd be like, yeah, there and Claire are doing this, doing that. Even on holidays, like we started going on holiday when I was a bit older, in the summer holidays, and it'd be like, you know, me mum, partner Billy, me and Claire. And there'd be days there that, like, Claire and me mum would just do something on their own, like they'd go horse riding. I never got those, like, singular days just with me mum.
Yeah.
And it's my mum, and I know that sounds a little bit, it might sound a little bit, like, harsh to people if people are like, well, you know, your cousin Claire hasn't got a mum or dad. And it was like, I know that, I do know that, and I obviously... I feel for it in that sense, but when I was younger and didn't understand why my mum had chances to choose me again and still didn't, it was just like, do you know what I mean? It was like, oh yeah, well, you get to do a day with Billy, and I'm like, well, Billy's not my dad, do you know what I mean? So like, that's different again, and like, I'd want to spend time with my mum because I don't see her all year round, and I'd like to spend a day just us two, but it still didn't happen, do you know what I mean? And like, it's just the same every year, do you know what I mean? Like Claire gets the priority, and there's people in my life that have also noticed that a lot, and even said, like, you know, like my nana Pat told me mum on multiple occasions over the years, like, you're choosing Claire over Thomas here, and it's just not right, do you know what I mean? But I think my mum had this guilt trip because it was her sister that died, obviously, and she had this guilt trip over Claire, but she never had it with me. But I was the one that got left. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, in my head, that sounds like, I could be completely wrong, so I apologise. Tom's mum, not going to say your name, but I feel like your mum had guilt over you, that she couldn't really look at you that way.
Yeah.
But Claire's not a biological kid, but she also feels like she's got a responsibility because it is her niece.
Maybe,
and she's grown.
yeah.
So I feel like it's a two-ended sword or whatever it is, where I feel like you were always going to lose out with that one. When I sit there and think about it now, which is, it's obviously so sad to hear, and it's not the best thing in the world where your mom's like, oh, go and spend time with Billy because Billy's not your dad.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not Billy's kid.
Yeah.
You want to spend time with your ma, not for your ma to go and spend time with someone else.
Yeah, I didn't actually look at it like that though, as in like what you've just said. Maybe the guilt was too much for her as like me being her actual son. Because in all fairness, like the conversations I've had with my mum, I feel like 1,000 of them have been the same. Do you know what I mean? The same conversation. She's telling me like how sorry she is, you know, like how much she loves me now and what a great mistake it was, because she knows she's missed out, and maybe that was a bit too much for her. Do you know what I mean? Like looking at me being like, that's my son, and I know I've fucked up there. Do you know what I mean? But it's maybe it's a selfish thing of me to sit there and be like, well, I don't know whether like I'll ever accept that excuse. Do you know what I mean? To be like, because it's weird. Like I say, I know I've got a loving family around me. Do you know what I mean? Got a lovely family, lovely friends that never made me miss out. But it's just it's a different type of like love that you normally have with your mum, different bond in it than what you have with your dad as well. So it's probably why I'm a nanny's boy though, in the sense, like, you know what I mean.
So that was the next thing I want to say. Like, but Nana Carol, was she the mum role model that you maybe needed in your life? That she was always there, or would you say that went more to Pat?
It was split.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd be surprised
split
if you would have chose one, because how much time you spent with Nana Pat as well.
I still do to this day, don't I? Obviously, I've lived with me Nana Carol, and you know, hats off to her. Like, I'm proud of who I am today, and I can't take the credit any further away from me Nana Carol. She raised me, you know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie, I was scared of your answering sometimes.
Yeah,
I was, lad.
Still
like,
am, lad.
I was scared of her sometimes, but I knew that she kept me in line, and she didn't have to do much, but I fucking knew she kept you in line, and she done that out of love.
Pure love, yeah. You know, like, I often look at people that say, like, haven't had, like, you know, a father figure in their life, and I know that's not the case with myself, but when I feel like when a woman steps up to be like the male parents in like any situation, I think a lot of the time they can struggle, you know what I mean, with keeping a lad in check. Because when you're growing up, going through puberty, you get that like rebellious side, don't you, where you like kind of testing the waters.
Yeah, you are.
And I remember trying to test it with me nan, fucking lighting fires up and everything, and like I'd come home and I'd smell of smoke, and when I was a bit younger, a bit slower, I get smacked the shit out with that slipper. But as I got older, I got a bit wiser, got a bit quicker, because that was petrifying. It really was. But, you know, can't take away any credit from my Nana Pat either. Like, on the weekends, she's still like, you know, she made sure that she didn't lose out on the relationship with me. She always made that clear. Because even though my dad was in my life, it was me both nans that raised me. Yeah. I'll admit that, and my dad would admit that as well. Do you know what I mean? He was there for the good things, like the football, the tennis, the table tennis, the snooker. But he weren't there for the hard things, to get me up for school, to get me ready, get me in on time. Do you know what I mean? It was me nan. And if I ever tried that little sick note as you do as a kid, oh, nan, can I stay off? Absolutely not. You know what I mean?
What do you mean as a kid? I still try that.
Do you? Yeah. Ringing up work. Sorry. GTA's just come out, by the way, so I'm staying off school. I remember that as a kid.
Oh, I was going to say, that's not coming out till 2025, lad.
No, I mean, I'll be staying off work then as well, like, but...
I know. My question is, because most lads we know have grown up without a dad. Like, it's been a dad. What do you reckon the difference is between you growing up without a mum and lads growing up without a dad? Because it'd actually be interesting to hear your point on that.
Yeah, like you say, most of the time it's the dad that's like missing from that scenario, the family tree, do you know what I mean? I think just as importantly, a male has like a role to play as a mother, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think people can underestimate the role that a dad does, do you know what I mean? Like, I think, like, what I'm trying to say, like, behavioural wise, like discipline wise, like the male side of the story is like more important, because I think lads would be more intimidated by the dad, you know what I mean? Like, if they step out of line, they respect the dad if the dad like tells them off. Whereas with me, obviously experiencing it from losing, like, well, not losing, but like missing out on the mother side, like it's more like of a connection and emotional difference, do you know what I mean? So, like, the male side is the physical aspect. That's the way I think of it anyway. I might be completely off on other people that have missed out on the dad's relationship, but, you know, like, I think I missed out more on an emotional basis with the mum, and I still had that physical aspect with my dad. If me nan ever struggled to discipline me, it'd be me dad she called. Do you know what I mean? And, like, obviously, that's when he'd send the shits up me, kind of thing. Like, I'd listen.
Your dad's coming in and back up. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
every time I go back to our childhood, I always just think about you and trying to scrap people and always just getting legged.
Yeah.
And me getting chased by a dog on the sporty. Or we're getting chased by kids on bikes. And they're saying, get the one in the yellow.
Get the one in the yellow and you're crying. I'm locking you in the sporty with the dog.
Yeah, because... yeah, for context with that one time we were playing on Kenny Sports Centre, if anyone doesn't know what a sporty is. And what was it, a bull? I don't know. What dog was it? It was a big dog.
It was a big dog.
Let's say bull mastiff. Let's make yourself sound harder. It was a fairly big dog. And there was me, Tom, Kyle. We're playing footy on the Astro. And this dog comes running on. And Kyle climbs the gate. Fully just...
Scales
the gate. Me and Tom are legging around the pitch, and Tom runs to the main gate of it and runs through. I'm running behind, and Tom goes, just shuts the door on me. And I'm legging around the pitch, and I'm petrified for my life. I've got this big ass dog chasing this small, well, not small, but like this regular size fat kid. And I'm like, boys, open the door, boys, open. And it's just heavy and it just won't stop. I'm surprised I didn't get bit or chewed. And the lad runs on, grabs his dog, and the dog just stops. Great. Second one, same area, but we're on the field behind the sporty. I don't even know why these kids started chasing us, but there was quite a few of us, and they just started legging us, and we all run. They're on bikes. Everyone's gone. Everyone's skinny. Everyone's light. They're gone. I'm at the back, little chubby belly, wearing my brand new 2006 or 7 yellow Liverpool kit with the red stripes. And all you hear is, get the one in the yellow! And I'm just like, help me, boys. And we just keep legging it.
Yeah, he was always behind. He was a little bit always behind. I mean, to be fair, that dog looked fucking super aggressive. So I didn't know how close behind you were to me, and I just weren't taking chances. I'm glad that you didn't get bit, by the way. I am glad. I don't think I've ever said that in my life. I am glad you were all right. But, you know, I've seen Kyle scale that fence and I thought, that cunt's safe. I need to be safe. Because that kid just was not asked about his dog.
No.
He was just like, kind of like nonchalant, like, oh, we might just tear these kids up to fuck. But...
So I remember, like, I tried to, the gate was about, like, the middle gate that separates the two pitches. Yeah. Probably about, 5 foot?
Yeah,
and I tried to jump over and couldn't do it, so I had to run around the pitch.
Do you know what, though? That kid probably would have opened the middle gate anyway if you scaled that. Probably, and just let the dog run onto the other pitch.
He probably would have opened it up himself.
Yeah.
But obviously, going back to what we were talking about before, we got up to shit. Mainly you got up to shit.
And you did not stop me.
No, I didn't. I was scared of you. I'm not going to lie. I was scared. You would have beat me up. But do you reckon that if your ma was there, you still would have been like that? Because I know everyone says, oh, the dad's the one that does the discipline or stuff like that, like you were saying before. And you saying, my ma would have been giving the emotional side of it. But then you hear people go, oh, because I didn't have a dad, I acted out more. I was a more little shit because my mum couldn't control me. I feel like this is far away sometimes. But I'm just thinking, like, you were an angry kid.
Yeah, I was. I'll be honest, I think even with me mum, if she was still there, like, throughout my childhood, I still think I would have been a little shit. Because look, knowing both my parents now, they're both very, like, they're not parental lardy, do you know what I mean? Like, if my dad saw, like, say me and you, if we were, like, ever younger or whatever, if my dad ever caught me, you and Kyle just, like lighting a fire and that, he'd just take the fucking lighter off of us. He wouldn't, he didn't, he wasn't
That's
really,
mine.
that, I've been looking for that little shit, and that's it. It wouldn't be like a little smackdown or anything. He did let us get away with murder, and I think my mum would be the same, you know what I mean? So, all those things that we got up to, like, I still think we do get up to it, do you know what I mean? I was a little shit as a kid, but my nan saw me as an angel, and that's what it was, you know what I mean? I was scared of my nan, so I wouldn't ever tell her what I got up to. But me and our Kyle have told me dad everything, you know what I mean? What we used to do and that, and he just laughs, because he done the same kind of stuff, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you ever tell him? I'm not going to say it in case like people find out and all of a sudden you get fucking arrested for this. Like, do you ever remember the really big one that you done?
Yeah, no. I've only told a few people, obviously. And
did you tell your dad that one?
I did tell my dad that one, because I told him my granddad seen it in the paper the next day, and you know, he sat me and Kyle down, not like in a way be like, look at these kids. You just sat, he was reading the paper and he was like, look at these arsehole kids. Me and Kyle are sweating buckets and thinking, they're gonna knock on the door any second now, do you know what I mean? I did actually think that. I remember that had me heart racing, just losing a shoe and everything in that moment. It was...
Did you?
Yeah.
No,
like,
know that.
Yeah, me foot got stuck in, and nearly got grabbed with it, and he got the shoe off me. And I just thought, wow, what a fucking close escape that was.
I thought you was like skating on the fence and it got stuck or something.
Nah, as I went to jump over, like, foot got like trapped on like the thing, and he grabbed me foot and nearly dragged me down. Don't know how he didn't, but he just got me shoe, do you know what I mean? What? Kyle, what a memory, eh?
I wish I could give context for that, but just no. Just a straight up no. There's some things you don't tell the world, and some things you only tell a couple of people, and that's one of them things.
That's it.
But I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised Kyle was involved. Like, when you look at Kyle now, but then again, when you look at you now,
I've calmed down a lot more, but Kyle's still the quieter version, isn't he? You know what I mean? Much more quiet and respectful, to be fair. The nicer version of me, do you know what I mean? Without the temper. He was the angel. He was the angel, yeah. Like, even when everyone knew it, everyone knew, like, when we were growing up and that, and, like, we'd be at, like, our James's. Me and James would be on the trampoline, knocking the shit out of Kyle. And for some reason, he's got, like, no pain like, what is it called? Pain receptors.
I just thought it was pain tolerance.
Well, that it is, yeah. He had like no, still to this day, no pain receptors. So like, me and our James are doing all these fucking mad moves, kicking the shit out of him. He was just there laughing. You know what I mean? And like, my nan would be like shouting at me and James, being like, right, stop bullying him now. And we're like, I wish it was bullying, like, where he'd be crying, do you know what I mean? But he's not. He's just laughing at us, letting us do it. Like, what? Do you know what I mean? But he is a much calmer person. But a little bit like yourself, I think when we were younger, like, where I'd be like, oh yeah, let's do something stupid, let's do something fucking naughty. You should just come along for the fun, because you knew it's going to be a core memory. Looking back now, how many things did we get up to, and we just have a laugh about it now, you know what I mean?
So... some of them are probably going to sound really pathetic, but we thought we were bad at the time. So one of them was we climbed in Kenny's school and we played footy on the... we got chased by a dog, we got chased by lads on a bike, you had scraps.
Yeah.
There was a couple of fires. There was someone on the res, or wasn't there? Like, with the hole.
Oh, yeah, because obviously the field opposite ours is obviously... the reservoir where all the water thing is, and like we broke the seal to the well going down, and don't know how, but we started a fire down there, and the fire brigade came down and everything, didn't he? And they were like, how the fuck's this being broken? To this day, I don't know, you know, I don't know how we broke it open, but they tried cornering it off, and like, you know, we used to just go in there every other week still, just fucking causing shit. That whole reservoir got set on fire by me, Kyle and Mickey one time as well. That was fun.
Mickey, I remember Mickey.
Yeah, I know.
Plod are going to turn up one day at your...
Do you remember when we broke into Kenny's school?
We broke into?
Yeah, do you remember that? Or was it just me and Kyle?
I think I was there, but I never went in. I think I couldn't climb the gate,
Yeah.
being the fat kid.
You're looking over like,
Yeah.
you're in.
Boys, be quiet, lad. People coming. What else? You... Something about BB guns on the street. I remember that. I think you were shooting me with a BB gun, and I was telling you to stop, you never.
Yeah, but do you remember when, like, a car went past and I deliberately tried to shoot the window and the fella's window was down? And it fucking hit him. And like he fucking slammed on his brakes and he jumped out the car and me and Kyla just ran inside, shouted me dad's on, being like, I fucked up, dad, come save us, you know what I mean? But that guy, he like my dad went down, he was apologetic to the fella, do you know what I mean? Going, oh, sorry, mate, you know what I mean? We've got some fucking idiot kids. They've all been there, like, and the guy's looking for a fight, and my dad's a calm person. He's not an aggressive guy. So he's just calming the situation down, and me and Kyle are poking our eyes through the parlour windows, through the blinds, looking at him, thinking, he's going to knock him out and just come straight in for us.
Should have been tapping on the window with the gun like that.
Motherfucker. Come in here, you're getting it again. Nah, it was a 1 in a million shot from a kid, you know what I mean? And I nailed it, you know what I mean? As he's driving past at like 20 miles an hour, right through the window. 007, mate, get me on the call for the next James Bond, mate.
I hope it's like, my mum and dad aren't watching this, you know. They probably thought I was an angel growing up.
That's it. Your mum and dad have got this perception of me because when I was here, your mum called me that little mouse. Do you know what I mean? Little quiet mouse who couldn't eat that much. Not this devil child that used to get her son into shit. Nearly get her son killed every other week.
When you think about like the amount of stuff we got up to because it was literally on your doorstep. Like, I only ever remember your dad coming out once over something. And I think it's because you had a scrap with Anthony.
Anthony,
he was like always scrapping with him. And one day it went wrong or something happened a bit more, and your dad came out and I'm sure your dad smacked him and then just went back in the house.
It was his dad, wasn't it? Because like I fucked Anthony. And like obviously I used to fuck him all the time because he was just an annoying cheeky kid, do you know what I mean? A little bit like myself but younger, like 2 years younger. But I thought, you know, like smacked the shit out of him. He went in and told his dad, and I think maybe his dad had enough of his kid getting fucked, you know what I mean? So his dad comes out and he's like wanting to, you know, settle with my dad, and my dad just come out and slapped him and was like, shut up, lad, do you know what I mean? It's like the one time. Actually, no, I've seen my dad fight a few times. He can't handle himself when he needs to, do you know what I mean? A few other times, like, do you remember when somebody robbed our ball from the sport team? We've gone back.
Oh, yeah.
My dad, my dad drove down in the middle of the road, sped right in front of him, slammed on, opened his door, and the kid just smacked his window. My dad just slapped the kid, took the ball back, brought it back for us.
You just think that's a lie as well, but he actually did.
He actually did. Big hero, my dad.
Oh, God, that's a memory that's been unlocked. That, you know?
That was unlocked, didn't it? Did you ever remember when, obviously, like, we used to chill with Mickey a bit, didn't we? And do you remember the older kid, Jamie, who used to live over the road, a bit further down?
I remember vividly, like, the shape of him kind of thing, but I can't actually put a face to him.
In all fairness, I didn't ever used to like him. He was a bit too old for me, I think, you know what I mean? Like, when we were, like, 12, 13, I think he was, like, 18, do you know what I mean? I definitely know he was a couple of years older than us, but he never used to like me because, like, Mickey used to be closer to me than him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were under his, and at the top of it, obviously, you know, where, like, all the walls were, like, broken and the bricks had just fell off. We were, like, there, throwing them at fucking golden cars. Just throwing bricks at cars. And one time, like, I threw a brick as Jamie was walking, and it hit him on the shoulder, and he thought I threw it at him on purpose. And I was like, oh, sorry, lad, I haven't actually done that on purpose. But he got a full brick, like an 18-year-old kid.
I remember this now.
And he fucking launched it at me, didn't he? And he smacked me in my leg. as I was running, and it left like a fucking 8-inch bruise. Obviously it hurt like fuck, so I've gone down, told me dad, and my dad's just gone out and just been like, right, you're an 18-year-old kid, yeah, you wanted it a kid, and just smacked him, and then like slammed him onto the bonnet of our car, and like I've never seen a kid shit himself so much like he did shit himself. And then me nan's screaming to me dad, let him go, you know what I mean, because that's assault kind of thing. So my dad let him go, he ran in crying, and the next day my dad gets arrested. The only reason he got away with it is because the judge was dead understanding. When he went to court, they said like, you've still assaulted him, and my dad's plea was, well, my son couldn't defend himself because obviously I was only like early teenagers, 13 max. So he was like, he threw a brick at him, the evidence is there, obviously, as I've seen. So what am I supposed to do for my son? And that's where he got away with it. The judge was like, yeah, that's self-defense in act of his son then. Do you know what I mean? So I have seen my dad like do some fucking sound shit. And this Jamie kid was about your size at the time. He was well over 6 foot, like. My dad just flattened him.
I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm in the gym for fucking ages. Was it? Because you're saying that about your dad, I'm trying to think of anything about like my mum and dad. I've only got one memory, but I'm not even going to go into that. But the one that I do remember is across the road there. Fella, we all ate him. I'll openly admit it, I ate him.
Yeah.
And he started on 2 of my brothers.
Oh, I remember this.
Man, this fella's about 65, maybe a bit older.
Yeah.
And obviously our Sean was a head doorman for years, our Leighton is Leighton. And he started on both of them, so my mum's ran over. And then like tried to like say, oh, you fuck, I'll go away. And then my dad's ran over, and I thought, and like this is when I snapped my knee. So I'm there like with a leg brace on at the window, like, what are you doing? Like out the window. And mum and dad like, what are you doing, man? Sean Lane's about to have a scrap. Like that.
Wouldn't want to get in a scrap with either of them, like.
Nah, battle them, it's fun.
Yeah, of course you would.
Yeah. And then I remember my dad running over, and I'll try and find the video after this. And it went from this whole series, everyone's flipping, effing and blinding, to me dad getting it on CCTV and putting the Benny Hill music over it.
I do remember that. Your dad made a good comical act of it.
Yeah. So that's the only like real memory I've got of me dad ever being aggressive, which I'm surprised about. I want to see him angry one day. Can you imagine our Andy angry, aggressive, wanting to go for a scrap?
No. I won't lie, no.
No, just can't, can you?
No. Especially not after seeing him fall over your front porch drunk. when we went out drinking, like that's my core memory of Andy, so I don't think he'd ever get into a scrap.
That was the Champions League final, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And what did he say? He went, I didn't even know that we lost until 2 days later.
One of the core memories I've got of your dad actually is when we had footy training.
It's that goal.
That goal. Andy, that goal, mate. I don't know if you can remember it, but we can remember it for you. It was a fucking amazing goal.
No, if you ask him, I remember that goal. He goes, oh yeah, that goal. I go, do you remember? He goes, no.
No, he just remembers saying that goal.
Yeah.
I think he went on about it for fucking months, didn't he?
I actually remember it. We were in St. Francis
downstairs
in the hall. He picks the ball up in the middle of the hall, takes someone on again. So he goes right, and then puts it in the bottom left corner. I remember it. I remember
going past us as kids, by the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we were kids. What were we, about 14?
Probably younger.
Yeah. Probably younger.
Yeah. But no, to be fair, it was a good goal. Because I always remember watching him score and then just going, that's my dad. Can I do that, please?
Yeah, no, that's one of my core memories of your dad. Or swimming. I remember we used to go swimming.
Everton. Everton Sports Centre, and it was freezing when you first got in.
Because I remember one time you were saying to your dad you didn't really want to go swimming. Your dad was like, "Where are you now? Get in the pool." And we were playing like water volleyball or whatever it is, and we hit somebody in the face. So your dad was like, "Right, we're stopping for a minute, so let's do some laps." And we were in the shallow end, and you were saying to your dad, "I can't do laps here. I'm too tall." And your dad was doing laps at the time in the shower, and your dad was like, Lewis, stop chatting shit. I'm fucking double your size, you stupid cunt. I'm doing laps. I remember that.
I used to say some shit as a kid to get out of any exercise, you know.
It was that though, trying to get out the exercise.
Do you know, this is went from like a really like serious conversation of like you welling up nearly. I felt like I was going to well up to just reminiscing the old times.
Reminiscing the old time. No, I definitely think that's the way all of our conversations have ever gone. Like, if I never needed to be serious with you, I could be serious. But then because we are so close and we've always been best mates, it can just change in a minute. And I do love that like relationship we've got. You know what I mean? If I needed to, I could cry to you. You know what I mean? And then just in the same sentence have a laugh.
And to be honest, I think that there's only been, out of my mates, there's only ever been 3 lads that have been like in tears, and I've actually like had to put my arm around them. And that's you, someone else, and one of the other lads. But yeah, I remember your one perfectly.
Yeah.
Sat in your room.
Yeah.
It is weird though, like how quickly we can switch off from a serious conversation to reminiscing. Because if I go to you 4 hours,
Cyclops.
So context behind this is just living into our childhood. This is just a nice episode. So context for that one is me and Tom used to put our FODs on each other, so like literally like that, and it looked like he's got 4 eyes because I'll go Gauzy and you'll go Gauzy, and it looks like I'm a Cyclops. So still to this day we still call each other that. That's cute.
It is cute. It's a little harder to do now because he's so much taller than me. But yeah, when you were a reasonable height. He started to stand on the bed while I stood up. Like, remember I fell off the bed, a kip. Right into the bunch of hangers. Fucking
I still tell people about that to this day.
It didn't even. You was just like, you were still asleep though, and me and our Kyle are laughing our fucking heads off, and you're just there in your sleep, and you go, what's so funny? And you're just there, comfortable on a fucking bunch of mountain of hangers.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
But it's the fact that like you always told me that I fell back a kip after saying that.
Yeah, you were there. We just left you there. I mean, obviously we weren't gonna get you up, but fucking hell, we just. I mean, I don't know how we ever made that work. Was 3 staying in the same bed, like a little single bed and that, but fucking hell.
I sat there watching scary movie. Watching It. Darkness Falls. Still reminiscent.
Still one of the scariest films I've watched to this day, just because, I mean, I haven't watched it as an adult. I've only ever watched it as a kid with us.
Yeah, it's probably shite.
It is probably shite.
I'm just going to have a quick look while we're talking on like what the rating is of it, because I always remember that film, and basically context, again, it's about a tooth fairy.
Yeah.
But it's petrifying.
It is yeah. My memory tells me it's
5
petrifying.
out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's an absolute load of arse. Yeah, it's just a load of shit, I'm not going to lie.
Just about the tooth fairy, that's not the traditional tooth fairy that you could imagine, but like this fucking demon kind of thing, like stealing your teeth. But if you ever see it, like, it'll just kill you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because the kid looks in the mirror, doesn't he, and then turns around then, dead.
Yeah. And so, like, then you couldn't be, like, in the dark. You had to be always in the light and things like that.
It's deep that, innit?
Deep that.
Don't go towards the light. What else is a core memory? I feel like I'm proper on the road now, and I'm just going to go through all of them. I always remember when we used to watch Blade.
Yeah,
there was this scene, I can't remember what Blade it was, but there was this scene where I think they're in a lab, and all of a sudden, like, the vampire, like, goes to kill her, and it goes dead lad. And I used to go for it. So we used to watch it upstairs in your dad's room.
Yeah.
I used to go downstairs for a piss purposely on that time, because I was scared of that scene.
Is it just after he comes out of, like, the blood of, like, the bath of blood?
I don't know. Like, I just remember that scene, and I'm just like, I need a piss. And I'd stand there, and I remember I could still hear him, like, that in the toilet.
Yeah, you just couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, no, I couldn't deal with that. Couldn't deal with it. That gave me a phobia of clowns.
Yeah, I mean,
so there you go.
That is some fucked up thing. That like one of the first scenes is Georgie getting his arm ripped off.
Georgie want a balloon?
Yeah.
Also, me and Tom, did invent £5 lunch because we used to always go to the shop at the top of his road and just spend the £5. And we used to get like the box of cookies and we used to get different crisps and then go back and then play GTA 4 in the parlour. We invented £5 lunch.
Yeah, that was after footy that weren't it as well.
On a Saturday.
We get like our took money off our dads and that. Like our weekends were brilliant. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, we play footy in the morning. We get like a scram from the burger van. Yeah, and then you'd go home, obviously get a bath or a shower, and that we'd do the same. And then you'd just basically come straight down. We'd go to the shop. Get our stuff for later. We'd then go to Sporty, cause some fucking hectic scenes. Lewis would nearly die on us. Then we go back to ours, watch some scary movie too, or some funny ass.
Scary movie too.
One of the best films still to this day, though.
It is. And to top it off, we normally would get like Donner meat and chips.
Oh, Donner meat and chips, like.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that was like the icing on the cake, that weren't it? Like my dad used to order from the same kebab shop all the time, so we just started going
on
it's called Pizza Rome, innit?
Just James in the background.
You know the one, the one.
Yeah.
Muirhead Avenue.
Yeah.
It's on Muirhead Avenue.
Is that where it is?
Yeah.
On Muirhead.
I don't know if it's there anymore. It might have got like taken over by a new owner. I think it's still
it does.
There's a Chinese like 2-3 doors down, isn't there?
Yeah.
Our mate, they
On Muirhead Avenue.
They used to do like a good mixture. There was like this, I don't know what it was called. Like it's an equivalent to like a Tex-Mex box, but you used to get like chicken strips, popcorn, chicken wings.
I never ever tried that.
So you get that for like £6, and then you'd be able to get a pizza on the side as well.
What?
So yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no. Just as you come over the hill on Muirhead, it's there on your right. Yeah, with like the little row of shops. You know what I mean?
You come over the hill on I've drawn a blank now. The hill on Muirhead.
Alright, sounds. Go from West Derby Road.
So I'm going down West Derby Road. Am I going towards the roundabout?
Yeah, go to the roundabout.
Go to the roundabout. Turn left.
Turn left and go straight up.
Muirhead, yeah.
Yeah. Just carry on going straight.
When you go up the hill and come down it?
Yeah, it's just there on your right.
Is it like all the shops to the right?
Yeah, it's like the first block on the right.
Fair. Wow, do you know what I used to order from Missions away? I thought it was like...
It was heavy, it was.
What's the road that's connecting Edge Lane to Kenny? The one where like the doctor's thing is?
Holt Road, what?
Holt Road, I thought that's where we got it from. Like,
no.
Down around the corner.
No. We were the only ones that he'd deliver to outside, like, because obviously takeaways back then used to only do like a 2-mile radius, didn't he? But because my dad, he must have used to drink up there, you know, in one of the pubs or something, because he used to know the actual fellas that owned it. And like James said, they're now taken over by somebody new, do you know what I mean? So, because I remember when he took over, we rang up. Mum was like, the usual order, mate, yeah? And the fella turned around and was like, what's your postcode? And we were like, L7, you know, whatever. And then he was like, oh, we don't deliver to there. And we were like, well, you do for us, do you know what I mean? You have done for like 15 years. Yeah. And he were like, oh, it's new owners and that. So that's why we stopped going there. And we just never ever went back. I don't know whether the food's still as good, but... Oh, yeah.
Is it?
Sound. Moved on to bigger and better things then.
So where'd you order from now?
I go
kebab burger chicken
for me Donner meat.
Yeah.
For anything else, like it depends, like a Nabsies or something. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
But that brings back some fucking memories. Kebab burger chicken, 4 a.m. walks and that.
Oh my
cheesy
God,
garlic bread.
Boulevard
Walks.
walk. Just get. Do you ever remember? Was you there when we watched? Was it Insidious? And then we went for a walk, and then we walk. What's the road at the top of yours, Derek?
Edge Grove.
Edge Grove, where we walking down there, and there was like a red door, and we all kind of shit ourselves.
I think I was there. Yeah.
I always remember that.
Obviously, just after Insidious as well.
And do you remember? Was you there when we tried to? No, I don't want to get arrested. Was you there when we tried? We actually did try, but we didn't succeed. Mention that, please. When we tried to get into the asylum that night.
Was Jonah in that there?
Yeah. Joey Jonah.
Joey Jonah, yeah.
Because didn't we watch the Strangers? No, it weren't the Strangers, the others. We watched the others and then we all tried to go in there, but we were all shitting ourselves after watching a scary film.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We used to love them scary films on a Friday and Saturday night, didn't we?
For context, I hate scary films in general.
Yeah, you
and
do.
I've watched so many and I don't like it. Do you know I've still got a scar from that night as well?
Where is it?
It's just there.
Oh, so big.
It's literally no wider than my nail, like, but I've still got a scar to this day. Because everyone jumped down the back of this, like, and they were walking around, and I was the last one.
Okay.
Shock.
Wow.
Again, wow, that's rude. And all of a sudden, keep this in mind, I've been the last one out of about 8 heads to go down like this little pathway. And then everyone started running back, so I don't know what happened to this day, but everyone turned around and legged it back. And I was the last one to get up. Everyone got up before me. And I'm just still stood there, so I jumped up. And as I went to go put my hands down, my hands went into glass.
Wow, what a soldier, eh?
Yeah, I had to go to Derek's without them and get a first aid, me and Jonah, like that, wrapping ourselves up, like that. But,
I've got a question.
Okay.
It's okay. Just to take it away and circle back to kind of it's something that you said earlier on that I've wanted to ask, but I didn't really want to interrupt because I've liked these stories. With your mum leaving
Yeah.
very abruptly, and then obviously your whole kind of childhood changing.
Yeah.
So there'll be two different answers here, but compared to what you felt back then when you found out compared to what you think now, how did you feel, you know, as someone who's, from my perspective, never had a parent take off? What was that like as a kid, and then what's it like now as an adult when you think about it? What's that feeling that somebody did kind of just up and go?
It's as I've got older, I've understood the situation more. Do you know what I mean? Like, and not to say that I've accepted it more, but I understand the reasons behind it. Like, you know, I couldn't think of losing my sibling, like Kyle. Do you know what I mean? And if it, you know, like, if anything ever happened to somebody like that, you know, I think I would struggle fucking massively. But I would never do what my mum did. Do you know what I mean? So, as much as I understand it now as a kid, I still don't kind of like understand how you can just get up and leave your 2-year-old baby. You know what I mean? But as a kid, I didn't understand any of the circumstances around it. Do you know what I mean? So it was so much harder as a child to deal with that, because I just kind of thought, I'm not important then. Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't, like, mustn't love me as much as I thought. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, as an adult now, I know my mum loves me, and I know that, like, she'd do anything for me. Like, she still tries to kind of like buy me love kind of thing when she's down. She still tries doing that thing that she's always done as a kid, like buying me things to kind of like say sorry. As a kid, that kind of like put a little bandage over it for the time being until she'd leave again. Do you know what I mean? Because she always done this thing where she'd be like, right, yeah, I'll pick you up from school tomorrow. And so I'd be there expecting my mum to pick me up from school, and she'd never be there, so it'd just fucking cripple me again. So it's different in a way. Like, I understand it now, but I don't accept it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas as a kid, I just didn't understand it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Do you reckon you're more prone to never doing that now because of what your mum did to you? But do you reckon if your man never done that to you, you wouldn't be as prone to doing it? Kind of thing. Like, you feel like you've got, no, I can't leave my kid because I know what's happened to me.
Yeah,
but try and imagine if it didn't happen to you, there would be more of a chance. Not saying you ever would do it, but...
Probably, yeah. Probably. To say there'd be more of a chance if it didn't happen.
Yeah, of you not being in your child's life kind of thing.
But definitely, because it has happened, it's like I know exactly what, like, damage that done to me. Do you know what I mean? And the only other person that I felt was on the same kind of wavelength, and I didn't ever really know it up until like year 11, was Josh Brody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and because obviously, I used to see his Declan by ours all the time, and Josh would come down every few months or whatever. But I remember learning that obviously he lived with his nan as well. Do you know what I mean? In his own circumstances. And like one day we just had that conversation, and it was just like we both knew exactly where each other were coming from, saying like, you know, our nans have never ever let us go without, and we're so thankful. But like, obviously missing the parents and that, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, looking at it now, I know that I could never do that, like, to my child, do you know what I mean? Just felt quite lonely as a kid, do you know what I mean? Like, in my own way. Like, not realising, like, there was obviously some deep meanings or reasons why. But unless something physically stopped me from being in my child's life predominantly, I'd make sure it was fucking... You know, I'd make sure I was there, like, every second of every day physically possible.
Yeah, because where you said that you felt lonely as a kid, did you know that you felt lonely, kind of thing? Because obviously you're not going to be aware of what you feel. You are a kid. A lot of kids don't know what they're actually feeling. They either feel happy, they feel sad, they feel excited.
Yeah,
they feel
yeah.
like the overall of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
umbrella, not anything underneath it. Is there ever moments though where you literally just thought, no, I am lonely, or I'm knowing a little bit more of why I'm like this, or how I'm actually feeling? A bit more self-aware.
Yeah. I think as I started getting a little bit older, you know what I mean, and like asking more questions to me mum, like on the phone, do you know what I mean? Like, as much as I needed to hear it as well, it hurt a bit more. So I'd then realise why I was feeling like that, if that made sense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd ask me mum, like, you know, when are you coming back, and why do you have to go again? Do you know what I mean? Because I think that was the main question I used to ask my mum a lot. Like, why can't you just stay this time? Do you know what I mean? And even to this day, if I ask my mum to move back to Liverpool, she still says no. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I have asked very recently, you know, the mortgage is paid off. Like, I sit there and think, like, well, why don't you just sell up and come back? Do you know what I mean? Like, as I got older, I was asking those questions all the time, and her answers explained a bit more for me, which would open up the wound a bit more and a bit more and a bit more, but it helped me understand in my own way. I had to get over it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I had to kind of start saying, like, I can't change anything in the past, and I can't really change my mum's thought process on it. If I weren't a priority back then, do you know what I mean? There's no really way I can force myself to be her priority, because she doesn't want to come back to Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? So
She's made a life though out there, hasn't she? No, like that's her life.
Yeah,
no matter how
it is,
much
yeah.
she's had in Liverpool, she's made a life out there. I feel like that's the harder truth as well.
yeah, it is. But she's also lonely, lad. She's like, out of us two, she is by far, like myself and her, she is the one that like struggles with it more now, you know what I mean? She's only really got, like, she's got a handful of friends, but her work have just made loads of redundancies, so she's lost a lot of the friends in work that she considered close. So it's really like, it's a lonely life with just her and Billy, because Billy needs looking after a lot now. You know, he's had a lot of strokes and that, and she's basically a carer for him, and she needs care herself. You know what I mean? Like, her back's bad, her hips bad, so she struggles with it more. That's more so the reason why I say you and Billy get home, so like, you know, you can get support from your family, and help each other. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to do it alone, kind of thing. But I think it's the fear of moving back to
I was
Liverpool
going to
for her.
say, is she scared to move back?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Because if I was in her shoes, I think I memories, and obviously everywhere she goes in Ireland, there's no memory of that.
No,
There's
exactly. There's no physical evidence of it.
Yeah, physical evidence is not walking down the street and go, oh, fucking, I remember walking down the street with my dad.
Yeah.
Like, there's none of that. So
That's it. You are right. Obviously, when she comes home, she's got those like things that remind her of it every day. You know what I mean? Like even just looking at like me nan and like then like all the grandkids and that, because like I haven't got it on now, but like a ring. Sorry, my granddad's ring. Like she used to always look at it and she'd be like, is that your granddad's? Do you know what I mean? Knowing full well it is, but it straight away set off like triggers for her, like emotional. And like one thing about my mum is she's never dealt with them. You know, like the problem, like not the problems, but she's never spoken about it. So like you could have the same conversation with her now as what I did, like 15, 20 years ago. Do you know what I mean? And she's never dealt with those problems of losing my granddad and Natalie. She's just drank into those problems. And we all know what like alcohol does to you anyway. Like it's not an antidepressant. It actually like, you know, enhances like, all right, it might make you feel a bit better in that moment, but you wake up the next day and you're much worse off after drinking 15, 16 cans of bud. You know what I mean? It's just, but that's all she's ever done, because she used to just drink with me granddad anyway. So maybe that's like her trying to cope, but it's just never she's never done it the right way. Do you know what I mean?
it's just an easy way for people to get into that, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because like with your dad, and obviously your dad drank a lot. So I remember like we used to go upstairs and we used to just see like cans next to him while he sat there watching the telly. Was his? So I don't think I've ever asked you this, and obviously I've never had the conversation with your dad, because obviously I was a young kid. I'm never going to speak about that with him. But with your dad and his drinking, was that before your mum or after your mum?
No, he drank a lot with me mum.
Yeah.
But it was in a different way. It was like a social way. You know what I mean? Excuse me. He could always drink a lot, but then the circumstances change as to why he was drinking. Still to this day, he drinks a lot because he lost me mum. Do you know what I mean? As in, like, she just got up and left me and him as well. Do you know what I mean? But his relationship with me mum is absolutely mine. Like, it's crazy. Like, they both sit there and say that they're still in love with each other. You know, like, they call each other every night. Both pevied, saying, like, they love each other, they miss each other, they want to be with each other. But I'm glad they're not, because they'd have drank each other to death. Do you know what I mean? They would have killed each other in that sense. But my dad, same way as my mum, struggles with dealing with anything. When my mum left us, like, as much as he was there for me on the weekends and the good things like the sports and that, he was like trapped in his own negative bubble, you know what I mean? And he couldn't help me deal with it because he hadn't dealt with it himself. Do you know what I mean? And he still hasn't to this day. He drinks because my mum's left us, and he was close to me granddad and Natalie as well. They were like his best friends, so there's that. But the main issue for me dad was losing me mum. Do you know what I mean? That's where it is at that.
Because I remember you saying ages ago your dad got much better with his drinking, didn't he?
He did for a while, lad, but even like, you know, right now he's not in a good place. Like, like he's struggling with more things than just me mum as well. Like things at home as well. You know what I mean? So he hasn't worked for a long time, like 8 months, 9 months now, something like that. Yeah, he hasn't been going to work. So he's just sitting in his room drinking. You know what I mean? He's just on the sick or whatever it is, and whatever that's given him is just literally funding his disease with alcoholism.
So as a 26, nearly 27-year-old, to make you feel old,
Wow.
do you feel like you've now got a responsibility to your dad?
Yeah,
How do you open? Especially like because I didn't know that he's not working.
Yeah. No,
So-
I fucking, I'm close to my dad. I still
Yeah.
go, even after every day, I go up to his room and we'll, you know, if I'm not watching a match with my mates, I'll watch it with him. And sometimes Mira will say to me, do you want to watch it with me? And I choose my dad, like, to make sure that, because he's lonely, do you know what I mean? But the problem is, it's trying to find him sober, do you know what I mean? Because when you have a conversation with my dad drunk, he forgets it the next morning, and like, you know, like I've had things planned loads, like both of us to go to, like, you know, couples therapy, not couples therapy, but like duo therapy sessions and that, and it's talking to him when he's drunk, and he's like, that's a brilliant idea, because, you know, he admits that he needs help. He doesn't want to do it alone, he's scared, and he's like, and that's fine. Like, I am as well, to do it on my own, do you know what I mean? Sitting here today on my own's different. I'm with you, your family, do you know what I mean? But when you're sitting in a room with a stranger, it's a different environment, isn't it? You know what I mean? So I know he doesn't want to do that on his own. So we've got plans to do loads of things together to help. But I'll say to him, right, no, let's go and do it. And you can't force people to do certain things, you know what I mean? Even though he might say he wants to do it, he then turns around and declines me to say, no, I'm not doing it. I don't want to, I'm not ready. You know what I mean? Things like that. Like, and I've even said, like, all right, like, let's start taking the dog for more walks instead of runs. Me and him will go for a walk and we'll talk. You know what I mean? He shot that down. Like, we done like 2 or 3 walks, and he doesn't want to do it anymore. I don't know, maybe maybe for him, what my nan's told me in the past is, talking to me about me mum is probably very hard for him, because he probably looks at me and thinks of me mum
Yeah, he will
directly,
do.
do you know what I mean? So like, but then, if it's not me talking to me dad, who is it? Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I worry about with me dad. Like, you know, he hasn't got any like close friends where he can just, you know, confide in. My nan and granddad don't understand it to the level I do, and he's not comfortable telling them, because they just want to slate him for drinking a lot. And I don't look at him and think, I want him to just stop drinking. I want him to be happy, you know what I mean? That's what I want. And I've gotten to a point where now I think, if he wants to have a couple of cans a day, that's fine. He's in a safe environment, do you know what I mean? He's done it for that long. Now it's changed my perspective, but it's when he starts drinking the shorts like vodka, that's when he spirals bad, do you know what I mean? And my nan and granddad don't see it like that. They don't want to like physically help him, they just want to shout at him and tell him that he's fucked up and he's an idiot and all that, you know what I mean? Whereas that's not what my dad needs, you know what I mean?
Can I ask that quick? Sorry.
Yeah.
So then, obviously, if anyone's made it this far and passed all your reminiscing, for anyone who is in your situation with
Yeah.
a parent or parents who are alcoholics or a family member, and obviously don't have your level of calmness to the situation and the understanding, what advice would you give them in terms of trying to help that family member or that friend who clearly does have an addiction towards alcohol? What is a way from your experience to help and go about trying to understand their side of stuff, rather than, as you just said, you know, your nan and granddad shouting at them and trying to say stop drinking? What advice would you give someone to try and get through that situation?
I've never thought of that. It's a good question. Like, obviously, every person is different. That's what I will say. Like, you know, what might help for my dad might not help for the next person's dad. Do you know what I mean? But with what I've experienced and what like I've tried, do you know what I mean? Like, it's more so like listening and being there and saying that, you know, things like, it's okay to drink, do you know what I mean? Because, you know, without going into too much detail on this, but Mia's uncle's an alcoholic as well, and he sent him to rehab not long ago, maybe 4 months ago. And when you're pushing somebody into something that like they don't want or something, like it, most of the time it's never ever gonna work. Do you know what I mean? Like he weren't ready for rehab, so you know the first 2 weeks he hadn't drank, and we were thinking, oh, well done. Do you know what I mean? We were all being like, that's brilliant, that. But what it was doing to him was much more like damaging. Do you know what I mean? He was meant to be on it for 12 weeks. He didn't get through the 3rd week, and he ended up like having fights with the counsellors and all the carers in there. Do you know what I mean? And it's, you can't force somebody into something. Do you know what I mean? So when you think like, oh, my dad's just an alcoholic or something, he needs to go to fucking therapy, or you know, and I'm gonna push him into it, it's really not the solution in most cases. Do you know what I mean? It might work for some people, just being like they're never gonna do it themselves. Maybe they need that little bit of a push, bit of a kick, a little bit of support. But with alcoholism, like as that as a disease kind of thing, you need to like understand why they are an alcoholic. Do you know what I mean? So understanding why would help you get them talking. The difference with it for me is, and why my dad's not maybe where I want him to be or whatever it is, my dad doesn't like talking that much. Do you know what I mean? And like I say, when I do talk to him, it's mostly when he's drunk. So the next day he kind of doesn't remember it, and when he's sober he will just say, I'm alright. Do you know what I mean? Even though you know he's not. But if you can just understand why, because I know with a lot of people, they haven't got patience for people who are alcoholics. Do you know what I mean? And I understand it's hard, because when people are drunk, they're either like really obnoxious or drunk, aggressive, annoying. Do you know what I mean? So you don't really like have the same serious conversation you would with a sober person. Do you know what I mean? You're just like, oh, you fucking drunk, get out my face, kind of thing. It's different.
People in society, we find it hard to deal with people who've got addictions.
Yeah.
Like I really do notice that the older I get. It's like if you see someone that's addicted to drugs, you see someone that's got alcoholism, people that smoke weed, there's a reason why they've started doing that.
Of course it is.
A lot of it always does come down to trauma.
Yeah.
Like, there will be times when people are addicted to something, it's just because they can't just go without it. And they start and then they are hooked. But a lot of it does come down to trauma. And that's a big thing.
And like you say, as a society, I don't think we've got enough patience for it. We just kind of like, in one aspect, you just think, get over it. And it's like, you know, the world doesn't stop spinning kind of thing. But it's like, well, if you want them to get over it, you need to understand why they're in it. You know what I mean? Like, going back to your question, it's like understanding why they are the way they are. Do you know what I mean? And like taking it step by step, because with being an alcoholic, it is not something you're just gonna change overnight. It's really not. There's gonna be a long process with it. There's gonna be a lot of talking, you know, a lot of moderation, like, and it's one of those addictions where, like most addictions, you can't just cut it out all at once. Do you know what I mean?
It's impossible to do that. It's like even smaller addictions. If someone went to me, oh yeah, stop drinking Dr. Pepper, that's just a little fizzy drink, but
You've had that for years.
I'm addicted to Dr. Pepper. So if I see it, so today I went into Tesco to go and get a can of Monster, but I saw Dr. Pepper.
And
so
you got that as well.
Got that as well, because I couldn't stop myself. So when it comes to someone dealing with a real life issue, and that is their coping mechanism, they're always going to turn to it, whether that's in a pub, in a club, at home, wherever it is, on the street. You've got to realise that person's gone through shit to get to that point. I don't think we're ever told how to deal with it because of the way that it makes people act. So we're always like, oh, they're a dick. Well, look at them. They're bevied again. They're drunk. Stay away from them. Got your own shit. Deal with it.
Yeah.
No one's ever like really round there going, fucking come on now, let's try and work this out. Because like with your dad, you talk to him drunk, he does remember the next day.
Yeah.
So if someone's drunk most days, how are you going to help them? It just takes so much time
exactly.
to put in for them.
And like, you know, you sit there and go, oh well, if he doesn't have the money to buy it, then he wouldn't be drunk and things like that. But then that's taking away something that like I have no right to take. Do you know what I mean? Like if I were to sit there and say to my dad, right, give me your card so you can't buy it, what do you think he's gonna do, lad? He's got jewellery there, he'll go and pawn it. Do you know what I mean? Like he'll go and pawn that second hand, and then he's got cash, he'll just walk to the shop then. If I say to him, you're not driving the car drunk either, alright, he'll walk. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You can't take away people's rights and like their own freedom as well at the same time. Like that's one thing I learned when I was like 15, 16 and I got really like aggressive towards my dad with it. It just completely backfired because like I figured out and I learned that if he wants drink, he will get drink. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't physically stop him, but I need to help him in a different way. It's just no good me just taking away everything that he owns to say, right, you can't physically buy. Like he's told me, like he stole in the past to deal with the habits. Do you know what I mean? Because he's craving it, and like he's shaking because he can't go to sleep in that unless he's got like a bottle of vodka. Do you know what I mean? And then it's the other side then that I worry. Like so that's why my mum a lot as well still speaks to him every day, because he confides in her and she confides in him. Do you know what I mean? Like in a way that I can't speak to him. But he can't deal with sober conversations. Do you know what I mean? Like if he was to have the conversation with me mum, he'd break down every time. But then after a cry, like I say, or after becoming so, he thinks, yeah, I'm okay now. You know what I mean? It's a really difficult one, to be honest. It's a sad one because my dad is a lovely person. You know what I mean? He is a lovely person, and I do want him to just be like healthy and happy and in a better frame of mind.
Yeah. Just go back a couple of sentences that you just said. Can you remember roughly around the time when you did get aggressive to your dad, like an actual time? Because I'm trying to put two things together. Can you remember, like, roughly, like, what month, what year?
Years ago, like, I can't remember, like, the month or whatever.
Yeah, because
it was years ago.
When you said it was about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
We all went to Haven when we were 16, didn't we?
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. Months later, Derek found my iPhone in his bag.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
But remember, because obviously we were 16, it was August.
I know the story you're going into now.
When you poured the vodka.
the vodka in the sink. Just Callum's and Derek's, weren't it? Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking, was that around, maybe that, it might have been a year before then when you was 15 or whatever, but I just remember you grabbing it, pouring down the sink, be like, why are you doing that? Because I don't want to be around drink and just put money down to pay for it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking...
I dealt with it, like, I associated alcohol in a very unhealthy way for a long time. Do you know what I mean? Like, and at that age, I didn't even realise that. Actually, yeah. But it was because that's when I became, like, say, like, physically strong enough to, like, say, stand up to me dad. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm big enough kind of thing. Because when I was younger, if I ever wanted to try and physically force my dad into, like, get him home from a pub or anything, I wasn't able to, do you know what I mean? But when I got to that age and I was able to do it, it just snapped, and I thought, right, I'm gonna fucking force him into something, you know what I mean? I'm gonna maybe, like, try and intimidate him into not drinking and things. But it completely backfired in the way, like, I was able to physically stop him, but he broke down to me and he said, like, do you think this makes me, like, want to stop drinking? Like, he said, like, I know I fucked up as a dad, kind of thing, you know what I mean? And I know your mum's fucked up as a mum. Like, that's something we've got to live with. And, like, he was like, I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud to drink every day. I want to be the best dad I can be for you. I just don't know how to do it. And I was like, here I am just thinking he's being selfish in a way that he doesn't want to be sober, or he can't be asked going to work. so he'll drink, but like he was dealing with things that like I didn't realise, do you know what I mean? But for a long time I looked at alcohol as if to be like that, you know, it's all the problems to my own bad mental health. Do you know what I mean? Like I looked at it with my mum, I looked at it with my dad. So because I didn't actually really like, I don't think I got drunk until I was like 19, like the first time, you know what I mean? I had a drink. So I remember that, like when I just poured all the alcohol down, because I was surrounded by it, I have been surrounded by it all my life in the wrong ways. Do you know what I mean? Like not in a good party, like households or whatever. Like finding my dad drunk in the middle of the road, and like, you know, he'd been robbed, his wallet had been robbed, his shoes had been robbed. And I was thinking, this was on London Road, you know, the corner pub that used to be opposite the Bonbon.
The corner pub that used to be opposite the Bonbon.
Yeah, so like, you know, say if you come out, where Barber number 1 is now?
Do you mean our barber?
Oh, Barber.
Yeah.
It used to be a big pub, didn't it? And he'd been thrown out because he was too drunk. And as he's been thrown out, he's just like kind of fucking hit the deck. And he's just been sleeping there. And people have robbed him, do you know what I mean? Didn't have shoes, didn't have socks. The only thing he had actually on was his jeans and a jacket. They took his t-shirt and everything. They took his bracelet, took his necklace and things like that. And I was walking home from town with Connor. Yeah. And he was there, you know what I mean? Just lying there, and he was asleep or unconscious or anything. But I remember ringing my granddad, because obviously my granddad was on the taxis. I was like, I can't get him up on my own, you know what I mean? And we obviously had to try and get him into the fucking taxi. And didn't know whether he was still, like, I didn't know whether he'd been attacked, do you know what I mean? And even when I was even younger, we'd be watching films up in his room, and he'd say, right, do you remember on Edge Lane there used to be a Shell garage, didn't there? Like, as soon as you come onto the top of our road, on the left-hand side. Not a Shell, it was a Texan or whatever it was.
Was that the one with the thingy behind it? Like the... Oh, no, yeah, I know exactly where you're on about. Yeah, you come out, turn left, and it's just there. Yeah, I remember.
Remember one time, well, all the time, like, but my dad used to say to me, I'm just going to get ciggies there. And I was like a 10-year-old boy. I'd say, can I come with you? Because I was worried that he'd not make it back home. Because, sorry. So, like, my dad had kind of said to me, right, I'm going to get some ciggies. Just at the garage at the top of the road, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, can I come with you? Because I knew he was a bit drunk at this point anyway, and I was just worried, even from like a young age, and of like his whereabouts, and like I knew like something could happen to him, do you know what I mean? And basically he'd always do this thing, and he'd be like, right, look at the time there, I'll be back at this point. And like he'd said to me 10 minutes, and 10 minutes had gone and he hadn't come back. And I thought, maybe there's a long queue. Next thing, it's 20 minutes, and then 30 minutes, and I go down to my nan and granddad. I'm like, is my dad back yet? And they were like, no, he should be back in a minute. And I said to them, you know, he's been like half an hour now. And that's when it kind of clicked to them, and they were like, shit, he has, yeah, he's only going up the road. So my nan tried calling him, there was no answer. And I started to panic like fuck. My nan rang me granddad to be like, when you're out in the streets, if you can come round by ours, see if you can see him and that, you know what I mean? On the taxis, obviously. And so me and my nan walked up to the garage. He weren't there, obviously. And I started crying to my nan. Like, I was just fucking petrified, you know what I mean? And nobody could get in touch with him. And we walking all the way up to like the different pubs, you know, like on fucking Wavertree Road and all that. He weren't in any of them. So, like, my nan ended up saying to me, like, come on, come back home. He'll be home soon. She was like just settling me and that, and it was getting late, being hours at this point. She still hadn't come home, and I'm fucking fretting like a dog. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I was bawling out, crying, shit like that, thinking, where is he? And I ended up crying myself to sleep because I was that tired. Do you know what I mean? We didn't see him for 3 days, lad. He just, and he come back and he was like black and blue, like he had that, like he'd been attacked somewhere as well. And like he didn't really remember it either. Do you know what I mean? He'd come back like that and he didn't remember it. So obviously at this point, like, we thought he was dead. Do you know what I mean? We did think he was dead, lad. And like, he used to do things like that all the time and be like, I'll be back. And from that point on, I was worrying every night. You know what I mean? It was hard, like. And like, I remember one time, he fell down the stairs drunk and he hit his head, and like he just knocked himself out, and like I thought he was dead. So like every night from that point, that he'd go to sleep and he'd fall asleep on his bed, I wouldn't sleep. That's why I started sleeping in his room all the time again. You know what I mean? When I was younger, because I'd sit there and be up all night, lad, just making sure he was breathing. And it was horrendous, lad. It was really, really, like, insane. And like, I remember telling Kyle, because obviously Kyle only used to see it on the weekends when he come to ours, and he didn't have a clue, lad. Nobody had a clue. Do you know what I mean? And I'd say that to my nan now, and my nan wouldn't have a clue that I used to sit there up and I'd just be watching him, making sure he was alive, lad. And he'd constantly go out on these weekend benders and not see us, and he'd be fine with it, you know what I mean? Just fucking making us all worry like that. That's like, you know, a little bit of the fucking shit with me dad, like. Don't know what else to say.
How does that make you feel today, though? Because obviously you're so much more self-aware of it. You drink yourself now. You've calmed a lot down from like, obviously when we all first go drinking and we'd all get pissed and we'd all have our own little addiction to it for a bit because it was fun. So you've been through the drinking stages. You've took yourself away from it a bit. You see your dad now. You're an adult. You're not far off 30. Sorry to say that. It's like, how do you deal with that now? Because obviously before you got upset, and that shows that you still haven't completely dealt with that, and like that still brings back a lot of memories for you in a negative way. Like, how do you even cope with that to this day?
Now, at least I know when, like, to be fair, like, me dad will only drink in like safe places now. Do you know what I mean? Like, in all fairness to him, he won't go to pubs anymore unless it's like with me. You know what I mean? I know I'm there to protect him. I'm there to like look over him. Do you know what I mean? So, like, as much as I don't want to drink him, I don't like, if he wants to go for a drink, like when it's his birthday or Christmas and things like that, like me and Kyle, we don't really get him like DVD box sets anymore or anything. We take him out for a nice, like, you know, like nice food. We'll go and play pool in Riley's. He'll have a few pints, it's fine. But he also knows, like, when I'll say to him, if you're 4 or 5 pints in now, and he starts getting a bit louder, doesn't he? You know, when he's drunk. I'll say, right, that's enough now. You know what I mean? Like, you can slow down, and he does. You know what I mean? He won't argue back with me, because he knows I'm only there, like, helping him, protecting him, kind of thing. So, with his drinking, like, problem now, it's not that I enable it, it's that I'm there to overlook it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I kind of monitor him. Do you know what I mean? And like that in my own way, like, it's weird, but that's how I protect him. You know what I mean? Like, I'll say to him, you know, you can drink, but be with me. Do you know what I mean? Because
I don't reckon it's weird. Because like you said, he only drinks in safe places now.
Yeah.
So if you go out, you've got to make that place safe for him. So it's not weird. That's just you being the caring son that you are.
Yeah.
So it's far from it. That's just you being protective and knowing, all right, have your drinks, but this is kind of the limit. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, like, all right, if we get too much, then it becomes a thing. We don't need it to become less. So you're a bit louder. You've had your bevies. We played our pool, played our, had some food. Let's just call it a night now or whatever. Let's
He
just
knows it as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Going to like our family events, you know, like weddings and birthdays and just even like nice barbecues in the summer or whatever when we're going to Shaz's and that. He won't go unless I'm there, and that's because obviously in his own way he knows as well that I'm there to protect him. You know what I mean? Like, because he stopped getting invited to a lot of the family gatherings. You know, like on my nan's side, on my nana Carol's side, and I get that a lot of them, like I say, they don't know what he's gone through, like in terms of they know what he's lost and that, but they've never spoke to him about it, so they don't know how to deal with him when he's drunk. Do you know what I mean? So they stopped inviting him for years, and that's like he started becoming more and more lonely. But obviously, I started getting older, so I started getting invited to, like, say, Shaz's 50th, you know what I mean? Where there is obviously the family's gonna be having a drink, and he comes, you know, as long as I'm there, and I'm comfortable with that. He's comfortable with that, but so is everybody else in the family, and they'll say like, "Oh, are you coming so your dad can have a drink?" Oh, Claire says it all the time. Like, "Are you coming so your dad can have a drink?" And I get it. Like, they also look at me as like his guardian. I don't mind that. He's my dad. Do you know what I mean? But that's how me and him, we've got that like understanding now that if he goes out to drink, he's much more comfortable with me being there. Or Kyle, like, you know what I mean?
That's, to be honest, I think even though your dad's never given you many proud moments growing up and all that, and there's things you look at and you think, fucking hell, Dad, like, why have you done that or whatever, I think that's a moment where you can look at your dad quite proudly, even though he's still drinking, but
Absolutely.
he knows that he knows that he can now look at you and be like, no, I can't drink him, basically, unless our Tom's there.
Yeah.
He looks to you for that permission, and it's trust.
And security.
And
everything.
so I think that's a really big thing for your dad.
It is.
Massive.
It is. Because all growing up, he was very alone in it. Do you know what I mean? He was like, couldn't really talk to anybody. And nobody really like understood him. Like, you know, my nan and granddad will sit there and say, yeah, it's a disease and that. But like I say, they don't try and help him in the way he needs help. They just want to tell him how bad it is or how bad he is. Do you know what I mean? Like, I had the conversation with my granddad about it directly, and because I said to him, "You're his dad." You know what I mean? You were meant to kind of like, and then I can't knock my granddad because my granddad's a fucking amazing person, amazing guy. But I was like, he's your son. You know what I mean? You're meant to, like, not just give up on him, kind of thing. And that's that's why he's closest to me out of everyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't love me more than he loves Kyle, but he is closer to me than what he is Kyle, because I've never just turned away from him. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas Kyle has got less patience for it than me. You know what I mean? Like, he can't. My dad used to come into Kyle's room, just like he still does to mine, and he's there fucking pissed, and he's stumbling, and he's talking nonsense, asking you the stupidest questions that he knows the answer to as well, and it is frustrating, but Kyle's fucked him off out of it so many times. Do you know what I mean? He won't. It's like Kyle will just kind of like, it's not his problem. Do you know what I mean? And like, get it, Kyle's got his own family and that to kind of like take on, you know what I mean? He's probably not like, my dad's mental health is not the thing that's on his mind a lot, but it is with me, because I'm more of a family person than Kyle is anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's obviously no disrespect to Kyle in the slightest.
No.
Just, Kyle's just always been like that, hasn't
Kyle
he?
has always been like that, and like you say, it's no disrespect to him at all. Like, I know for a fact there's nobody loves more in this world than his daughter, you know what I mean? She's amazing. He'd do anything for her. I'm not saying that. It's just, you know, as you know, growing up anyway with Kyle, it'd be like, when we'd be saying bye to me nan, granddad and me dad or something, giving them hugs and kisses, you know what I mean? He'd never do that. And that's just the way he was raised. His older brother on his mum's side would be like, that's gay, kissing your dad and that. And I remember my dad having a conversation with him and him saying to Kyle, it's not gay to kiss your dad, like, goodbye, you know what I mean? Like, not at all. It's just saying that I love you. And it took Kyle quite a long time to kind of, like, get used to that, you know what I mean? Like, giving hugs and kisses, because I still give him a hug. And sometimes I think he looks a bit awkward when he gives a hug back, but I know he loves me, you know what I mean?
Kyle loves people in his own way. That's always what that is. Like, I was the same for Kyle for years. Like, I felt weird the other day when my dad came round when we watched the Arsenal game last Saturday or whatever. Yeah. When my dad went to give us a hug, I felt weird. Like, I don't give my dad hugs. Yeah. So when we give a hug, and like now every time like I say bye to my mum, I'll always give her a hug and a kiss on the cheek. But I never used to do that. Doesn't mean I never loved them.
No, exactly. It's just
the way I never done it. Yeah. And I always remember when I give my mum a hug and a kiss on the cheek in the kitchen a few weeks back or a few months. I've done it that many times now, I can't even remember. Sean was like, oh, not like trying to take the piss because he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh yeah, blah, blah, ha, ha, ha. But in my head, I was like, fucking one day she's not even going to be here. And that's like, you might want to give her a hug and a kiss.
And then you'd be like, I'd do anything to give that person a hug and kiss. Yeah.
It's mad, like, how far away we are as kids that we don't give, like, the closest people we love, like, a hug and a kiss. Like, we'll see each other, we'll always give each other a hug. Me and James, like, I give him a hug the other day, but we don't really hug. Me and Derek don't hug.
No. Yeah. I'm a very huggable person. Like, I give out hugs to everyone, do you know what I mean? Even coming in here today, gave everyone a hug, do you know what I mean? I just, because the people that I ever see, the only people that I ever see are the ones that I consider like my closest friends, you know, the ones that I want in my life. Do you know what I mean? And like you say, that goes to friends and family, and one day we all won't be here, and it'll be a tough moment, you know what I mean, when you're trying to, like, remember the good things, do you know what I mean? Like, what you would do for your mum, your dad, your brothers, do you know what I mean? Like, it's sad, but it's life, innit? You know what I mean? We all come and we all go.
Because do you ever remember when the saying YOLO came about? You only live once, and everyone's like, YOLO. Like, that always kind of reminisced with me, because I was always a deep thinking kid. Like, I always thought about stuff a bit too much, and I thought I was a bit weird for it. But as time went on, I started taking that a bit more serious and not like the YOLO part, but like, no, you kind of do only live once. So, like, I could walk out the door today, and it could be after this podcast, and I might never go home because of a crash.
Or
like, it's not the most impossible thing in the world. Obviously, people go, don't say that. Well,
but it can happen, can't it?
It can happen, so that's why you kind of got to live everything, and that's why you got to love everyone. That's why you've got to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. That's why you've got to give everyone the second chance. You've got to do everything that you can where you do live with no regrets.
That YOLO saying, like you say, when you're a kid and you're there, well, when we first heard it, it was all about, like, doing the most dramatic things. Because you only live once, you're looking at it from, like, do you know what, fucking hell. I will go and do that thing with me mates or do something stupid because I only live once. But when, like you say, you get a bit older and you're actually, even though you've done it from a young age, when most people only start thinking deeply as they get older, don't they, and realising it's not just about, like, the fun things, it's about, like, cherishing every moment that you're on this earth. Like, you know, like, every moment that you breathe, or you're sitting with your mum and your dad having, like, like you said, watching a match with your dad. You know what I mean? One day that's not going to be possible. Do you know what I mean?
So it is one of them, and that's why I think for your dad, for you to look at your dad, it's a proud moment for him. Yeah. Because even though that you've never had that, you did have a relationship, you did, but you didn't have the relationship probably that you wanted. But now that you're older and you can be a bit more of a guardian, which is, it's not your role, it's not your job to do that, but you've
Yeah.
still got something with your dad now, and
Yeah.
you know that it could turn around even more.
That's
And
it.
to be honest,
I look at it, and as much as they've got problems and like comparing myself to other people's with their own like relationships with their parents, you know, I wouldn't change my mum or dad in any slight, even though I've had the struggles, you know what I mean, but who hasn't, do you know what I mean? I'm not on this earth to judge anybody, and you don't know everybody's story, do you know what I mean? So me sitting there looking at some of my friends with their mum or their dad, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm jealous of that. I don't know what's going on in their home, do you know what I mean? Like, they might be doing their own struggles. So I wouldn't change the relationship I've got with my mum or my dad in any way, shape or form to this day, you know what I mean? I'm grateful that I've got a relationship with the both of them, because a lot of people in my situation don't, do you know what I mean? They don't have a relationship with like the mum or the dad or whatever, you know what I mean? So I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah, it's I've had a brain fog moment. I was going to say something and I completely forgot where I was going with that. Yeah, that's I knew I was going to have this today. I really do know I was going to have this today. Hey, at least I came quite late into it, but
Yeah.
no, I completely agree that. That was it. Got it.
We're
Came back now.
back.
It's back. The relationship that you've had with your mum and your dad, no matter how positive or negative you think about it, though, when you're growing up, it's made you the person that you are today.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's made you have the relationships that you've got with other people and how you treat other people, how you view and see
Yeah.
other people. It's just, no matter what happens, I think like you said, you've got to be grateful, because everyone loves Tom Kelly. Everyone sees Tom Kelly walk into the room like, fucking hell, here's Tom.
First person that ever said that was Ryan Mack, you know. He said, who doesn't like you? I don't know, lad.
But like, it
No, I
is honest
appreciate
though,
it,
like,
though. You know, like for my own problems and that. I'm glad that I've treated everyone in a way that they know that. They remember me as in like a nice person. Do you know what I mean? Because that's just how I was raised with me nans. Do you know what I mean? And to treat others like the way you do want to be treated, kind of thing. And as I've got older, I've definitely done that more towards me mum and dad, because I know, as much as like what you're saying, I've been nice to like all friends and that, I know I've also been very, very mean and to me mum and dad, and that's just because maybe I got frustrated or you know, like I got fed up, but that was my own way of dealing with it, you know what I mean? And I've always realised it after it, like even over Christmas, my mum was staying in Andrea's, and we had somewhere to be at like 2:30, and it was like, I said to my mum at 1:55, right mum, finish that drink. Like, she was obviously drinking a bottle of Bud, you know what I mean? I was like, finish that one, and we're going. And she downs it and goes, let me get one more. And I was like, no, mum, we've got somewhere to be, you know what I mean? Like, we need to be leaving in 5 minutes. And she's going, no, I'll finish it dead quick, I promise. And I was just like, mum, please don't. She did it anyway. She opens up another one. And it was 34 minutes past 2 by the time we left. And so we were already late for what we were what we were meant to do. And I'm saying this to her, and I'm saying, like, you never care about what I've got planned. You just, if there's drink involved, that's all you want to do. You don't care that I need to be somewhere. And then she's ignoring me, she's doing what she does best, like when she knows she's in the wrong. And then as we're coming out the house, she starts bringing up loads of things to Jennifer. And I'm like, come on, mum, stop taking the piss. And she's going, stop speaking to me like a dickhead, son. And I just fucking seen red, and I was like, stop fucking treating me like a dickhead then, do you know what I mean? And I shouted at her, and I said, like, get the fuck in the car or I'm leaving you, you know what I mean? I got quite aggressive, and I've done it, I know I've done it a lot, I've done it with me mum and I've done it with me dad. They're the people that I've lost my patience with over the years. And I always know that I shouldn't have reacted that way. It was just like a mean thing, do you know what I mean? It was in the heat of the moment. And after I realise it, I instantly think, that's not me. I don't want that side of me to ever come out, do you know what I mean? Like, I want to really be, like, helpful to others, treat others, like, good, be there when they need it. And I know that we're not perfect anyway, you know what I mean? Not one of us here are perfect, so we do lose our composure a bit. But I work on that every day with my mum and dad, do you know what I mean?
I think, like, I could be completely wrong. I might get fucking look back on this and be like, what, I'm a dick. But I think you'll always be like that, and I feel like we're all like that. You've had so much shit over the years.
Yeah.
Like, in a nutshell, so much shit over the years with your mum and your dad, and you've had good moments, but you've had a lot of bad moments, and you've had a lot of emotional trauma from everything.
Yeah.
So any time that you ever react is because of in the past. Everything that's happened, that's gonna live with you to the day you die. And I think you can work on that and you can get better and better and better. But just don't think. I'd say personally, don't think you're probably gonna get perfect at it, because it's gonna be hard to be able to not do that. And if you ever do act like that, accept it, but don't beat yourself up over it or whatever.
No,
like, don't put yourself down, because it's like you said, you're human, you're not perfect, and you are going to have more moments like that. And they owe you a lot more than what you owe them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to. I understand that, I do, and that's what, like, you know, looking at the bigger picture, I know that's the truth. That is the truth. I'm the son. You know what I mean? They're the parents. Their responsibility should be looking after me, not the other way around. It's just that I just can't help it, you know what I mean? Like, I will always try and be a bit better than yesterday. And I love them so much, do you know what I mean? I feel like I've opened up a lot today, and it is a lot of negative, do you know what I mean? It's a lot of emotional trauma, like you're saying, but I genuinely can't emphasise, like, I love them to bits, do you know what I mean? Like, for different reasons. You know, my dad was there for the good things, all the sports, that I'm fucking amazing at. Do you know what I mean?
That's another thing everyone says. Tom Kelly's good at any sport he ever plays.
Yeah.
So he's loved and he's great at sports.
You know, that's directly from my dad. My dad was the same. The only thing he couldn't do was play football, to be fair. He was a good goalkeeper, but he can't kick a fucking ball, like. But and from my mum, like, she's much more, like, family orientated, and that's what I get from her, like, the caring side. Like, even though she's very selfish in times, I've got a lot of things from her as well that I'd never take away. You know what I mean? My mum and dad, we've all got them, whether they're with us or not, but we can't change them, can we?
No, they're all set in the ways. Because we're coming up to our middle age of a generation. Like, we're not far off our 30s, all of us in here. Well, James is only 25, like, so we still got a few more.
The baby. Yeah, but
More of a baby.
you're 25 next year, aren't you? This year? Yeah, sorry, I forgot we're in January now.
But yeah, they're all set in the ways. My mum and dad are set in their ways, not saying it's bad. Your mum and dad, everyone else is. It's just, they're set in the ways, and it is what it is. Like I said, you can't change it. You can only accept them for who they are. If you like them, you like them. If you don't like them, you don't like them.
Yeah.
Some of us are stuck with them. Some of us, unfortunately, aren't stuck with them. But yeah, it's parents for you, right?
That's it. Thank you for having me on anyway.
I know, yeah.
I didn't think... I was a bit nervous, you know what I mean? I didn't know how it'd go, but I have actually really enjoyed it. So I appreciate that.
It's the fact that, once again, I've had absolutely nothing prepared for this, because I didn't feel like I needed to.
Nah. That's why, even when, like, you know, just before we started, we're like, right, is there anything you do want to speak about? And it was just like, I'm just going to go off me dome kind of thing. Like, because the conversation flows with you so naturally anyway, that like what we experienced today. 1 minute we're serious, 1 minute we're fucking not. So, and that's the exact way I'd want it to be, and that's the exact way I tell everyone when I want them to jump on here when they've got their own story, or even just listen to other people's.
Yeah.
I literally want to tell people that this is genuinely like the safest space you could possibly think of trying to talk if you need to talk about anything.
No. I say, it's, at the end of the day, you're just another lad from Kenny who's got his own shit. And everyone thinks that they're going through it themselves, but they're not.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to get to the sport and have a kickabout and get chased by dogs, let us know. Yeah. But Jay, do you have anything lined up? Considering you're normally a questions guy. Not at all, Degs? No. All right, well, I want to thank everyone for watching this, and if you're still watching, thank you very much. It has been a really good, really emotional episode today. Obviously, if you're looking at me, you're on YouTube. If you're listening, you're on Spotify. So thank you for the support and everything so far on the Mindful Podcast. We cannot thank you enough. We've got so many more episodes lined up. We've actually double booked every weekend this month just for you guys. So please, please, please watch, please support, follow, like, subscribe, share, whatever it is. It's just a click of a button. Help us grow. We get more content, we get bigger people on, and we get more messages out there to change the world. So thanks for watching this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.